CBS has another new sitcom to give us this season, and it's paired Monday nights with The Neighborhood. Let's talk about the Damon Wayans and Damon Wayans Jr. show, Poppa's House. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the new CBS series Poppa's House. This airs Monday nights alongside The Neighborhood, which is in its, I think, 6th season. But that's with Cedric the Entertainer and Max Greenfield. And I have to say, it's corny, it's cheesy, but it gives old school sitcom vibes, and I really enjoy watching The Neighborhood. It's not, maybe great writing. It's corny at times. It's a little hacky with some of the sitcom plots, but I think, I don't know, it's nostalgic for me, and Cedric and Max Greenfield are so funny together that I enjoy that show. So I was looking forward to Poppa's House because it's got a similar vibe to it. It is a multi-camera show, so you've got that studio audience there, and I love Damon Wayans Jr. I mean, he did a sitcom for CBS a few years ago called Happy Together, but of course before that he was in Happy Endings, which is one of my favorite comedy shows of the last 20 years. And that's, kind of where he really broke. But Happy Together was also very funny. CBS only gave that one season, unfortunately, because I really liked that. But now he's back with his dad, and of course, no stranger to sitcoms there. Of course, the sketch show In Living Color in the 90s. But more recently, My Wife and Kids, that ran, I think, 5 years maybe. And that was on ABC, maybe 10 or 15 years ago. But that was, same tradition of, classic sitcoms with a studio audience. So, look, before we dive in any further to Poppa's House, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are one of my subscribers already, thank you so much for returning. Always love having you guys back. But if you're not, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell, or just click the like button or comment below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right. This was co-created by Damon Wayans himself. He plays Poppa, who is a popular New York City radio DJ. It's established pretty early on in the very first episode that he has got some money, and then we find out why, because he's had this long-running New York radio show for decades, and he plays some great R&B tunes, and he chats with his audience and whatnot. And Junior, who is Damon Wayans Jr., and I guess they're both named Damon. I know Junior was referred to as Damon, I think, in the second episode, but I think both the characters are named Damon, so they tell him apart by Poppa and Junior. Big stretch since they're both named Damon in real life. But anyway, he works for his father-in-law as like a salesman or whatever. You have Damon's Junior's wife, I should say, played by Titana Jackson. Not really familiar with her, but then you also have Essence Atkins as Dr. Ivy Reed, and she is sort of going to be the craw in Poppa's side. In the first episode, it is decided by the network brass at the radio station that she will become his co-host. She has a popular podcast about some women things, and so we're going to bring a more diverse audience to your show. We're going to have more callers talking about their problems. It's going to be music and sort of advice, relationship advice, personal mental health advice kind of thing. And Poppa is old school and doesn't want any of that on his show, infringing on his rights. He's kind of like an Archie Bunker type a little bit, not with the racism, but just stuck in his ways, and doesn't want to deviate from what he knows and what he's used to and whatever. It's a pretty fairly common sitcom trope, I guess. But Essence Atkins, no stranger to the Wayans family. She's worked in a few of their projects, including the Marlon Wayans parody movies, A Haunted House and A Haunted House 2. So she's been a part of the Wayans world for a little while. All right, so look, this show is generally not good. Unfortunately, a lot of the trappings that I mentioned, and this is the reason I brought up some of those things about The Neighborhood early in this video, that it is a little bit, hacky sometimes. It's a little bit corny. It is definitely a throwback sitcom. It's got a lot of those vibes from 80s and 90s sitcoms, two people kind of butting heads, but they're neighbors, so they get along and they're actually best friends, but, whatever. That's the neighborhood. Papa's House, tries to take some of that flavor. Like I mentioned, Poppa is kind of like an Archie Bunker type, set in his ways. I don't want, this woman coming on and talking about feelings and all this. I'm, stoic and whatever. But unfortunately, look, and I like Damon Wayans. I really do. Obviously his stuff with In Living Color is legendary, and his stand-up I enjoy. But I don't know. There's something about this character that does not rub me the right way. Like Cedric, I guess because he's got on The Neighborhood, he's got his wife, Tashina Arnold, kind of setting him straight, and he's got two kids in their 20s, probably now their 30s, I guess, in this era of The Neighborhood. But, they're all trying to kind of set him straight and whatever. But here you have Junior, who, kind of worships his father, doesn't really stand up to him for anything. And so that whole concept sort of, breaks down. And, maybe as we get subsequent episodes, we will get that with this female character that comes on the radio show. I don't know. The first episode was a tough watch, to be honest. It wasn't very good. But, look, I like to give these shows 2 or 3 episodes. The third episode aired last night, so I have not seen that yet. But I watched the first 2, and I think the second episode is better. And the writers, I think, realized, Damon Wayans Jr. Is adept at a certain kind of, type of comedy. And that is sort of the kind of the put upon idiot a little bit. Now, he wasn't that in Happy Endings, but in the sitcom world and some of the other things he's done, some of his movie roles as well, he sort of fits really, really well in that lane. In Happy Endings, he was like the put together one, which also worked. And Damon Wayans came in a couple episodes and played his dad in that. But here, he's, kind of still immature. The wife kind of harping on him to, get his act together kind of thing. And he's doing these Looney Tunes impressions in episode 2. But I think that worked. I think that's the lane that this show needs to go in. Kind of play into the strengths of both of these actors. They need to really work on the Poppa character, though, because so far, I can't get behind him at all. He's just kind of a curmudgeon. And that can work, certainly. We've seen it 100 times. But the way they're writing it, it's just not quite working. Also, as a person who worked in radio for a long time myself, I don't see the idea behind, this, popular R&B show where they play, old school music and, this guy talks about sports with them or whatever. Let's bring this woman on to bring a completely different audience, but alienate the entire audience you have. So far, that doesn't seem to be working. They're sort of cottoning to her emotional stuff, and now the callers are like, oh yeah, I really do need a good cry today, whatever. But I think there's ways to tweak that show without completely doing that. Plus, that was a plot that they already used on Frasier with the Dr. Mary episodes years and years ago. So anyway, this is a middling show for sure. I think there's potential here if they can write to the comedian's strengths. I think they could have something, but for now, it is not cutting it for me. I would say it is the worst live action comedy of the fall season. I leave Poppa's House with a C-. Hopefully, they get to tweaking some of the personalities here, and we could have something. But for now, it's just not doing it. All right, thanks for watching Dan Reviews It. I'll see you next time.